A24's Opus has been getting a lot of hate, and honestly, I get why people might not like it. It's weird, it's unsettling, and it definitely won't be for everyone. But I went in cautiously, and to my surprise, I really enjoyed it. It's got strong performances, an eerie atmosphere, and a fascinating take on celebrity worship that hits pretty close to home. But it's not without its flaws. Let's talk about it.
What is it that you guys do?
Would you like to see?
The crowd is upset. Upset that I'm not on stage.
Is this not alarming to you?
The back row's asleep. But the front row's ready to rage.
Are you sure you haven't been drinking with us?
Okay.
What the fuck is this?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about Opus, the directorial debut of Mark Anthony Green, who's a former journalist and GQ editor. This is clearly a personal project for him, and you can feel that in the way it's written. But despite being an A24 film with a strong cast, including Ayo Edebiri and John Malkovich, this one hasn't been received too well, so I was a little cautious going in. That said, I was pleasantly surprised. While it has its issues, I found myself really drawn in by its unsettling atmosphere, bizarre humor, and themes of celebrity worship. And as someone who generally enjoys A24's unique style, I think that played a part in why I like this so much. I've also seen a lot of people comparing Opus to The Menu, which I actually haven't seen yet, so I won't be making that connection. But if you have, let me know in the comments how they compare. Before we get into the review, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts on Opus. Now, let's get into it. So Opus follows Ariel, played by Ayo Edebiri, an up-and-coming journalist who gets a rare opportunity to document the life of legendary pop star Morreti, played by John Malkovich. He's this reclusive yet eccentric artist, someone who's transcended pop culture and become something larger than life. She's invited to stay at his secluded estate to conduct a full expose, and at first it seems like a dream opportunity. But the deeper she goes into his world, the more she realizes that his inner circle isn't just a group of devoted fans. It's a full-blown cult. Worshipping Morreti is something more than just a man. What starts as a journalist covering a celebrity quickly spirals into something far more sinister, and she finds herself trapped in this bizarre ritualistic environment. I won't spoil what happens, but let's just say the story takes some dark and twisted turns, with moments of horror, surreal humor, and some truly stomach-churning body horror along the way. Ayo Edebiri has been on fire lately, and she brings that same natural charisma and sharp comedic timing to Opus. But what really works here is how grounded she feels. She's the audience's voice in this absurd and unsettling situation. She reacts the way any of us probably would if we found ourselves surrounded by these obsessive, almost hypnotized followers. She's skeptical at first, but not to the point of being overly cynical. And when things start escalating, she sells the paranoia and fear incredibly well. By the third act, she fully steps into the final girl role, and I thought she handled it in a way that was both believable and satisfying. John Malkovich is just one of those actors who can make anything compelling, and this role is perfect for him. He plays Morreti with such a bizarre mix of flamboyance, ego, and cryptic wisdom that you're never sure whether he's completely delusional or if there's some method to his madness. What I love about Malkovich is that he never overplays it. He doesn't just turn into a cartoon villain. Instead, he has these quiet, unsettling moments where he'll say something profound, and then the next second he's bursting into a full theatrical monologue about his divine artistry. It makes for a character who is both ridiculous and genuinely terrifying. And the fact that he performs original music for the film, that just adds another layer to the character. The songs composed by Nile Rodgers in The Dream feel authentic to the kind of washed-up, self-obsessed legend that Morreti is supposed to be. Malkovich fully commits to the role, and that alone makes the movie worth watching. If you're going into this expecting a bloodbath, you might be disappointed. The gore is pretty sparse, but when it happens, it hits. There are some body horror moments that really turn your stomach. Think David Cronenberg levels of grossness. It's not over the top like some modern horror films, but the restraint actually makes it more effective. When the movie decides to get nasty, it really gets nasty. Now this is a weird one because Opus isn't exactly a comedy, but there's a lot of dark humor baked into it, mainly through Malkovich's performance. performance. His over-the-top theatrics, the way his followers react to him with unwavering devotion, it's also absurd that you can't help but laugh at times. There are moments where the film leans into how ridiculous the situation is, and I think that works in its favor. It helps break up the tension and keeps things from feeling too self-serious. The strongest part of Opus is its critique of celebrity obsession. This movie really digs into how fandom can become almost religious, and it pushes that idea to its most extreme conclusion. What's interesting is that while Morreti is clearly manipulative, the movie doesn't fully vilify him. It leaves room for interpretation. Is he just a delusional narcissist, or does he genuinely believe in what he's preaching? And how much of this cult-like devotion is the fault of the fans themselves? It's a fascinating exploration of how society deifies celebrities, sometimes to a dangerous degree. Now, as much as I love the concept of the cult, I do think the movie could have gone deeper. We get glimpses of their rituals and beliefs, but a lot of them are introduced only to be completely abandoned. There are several moments where it feels like the movie is setting up a custom or ritual that will have some kind of payoff later, but we never revisit them again. It makes the cult feel a little underdeveloped, like there was a deeper mythology just out of reach, but the film didn't fully commit to exploring it. And while the gore that's there is effective, there's one scene in particular that felt like it was building to something truly grotesque, and then it just doesn't go all the way. It kind of pulls its punch, and I found myself wishing it had leaned into the horror just a bit more. So despite all its flaws, Opus really worked for me. It's got strong performances, a unique atmosphere, and a sharp critique of celebrity culture that feels disturbingly relevant. I think it could have gone deeper into the cult's beliefs, and I wanted a bit more from the horror elements, but overall I had a great time with it. I'm giving Opus 3.5 out of 5. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.